So we are live now. Hello everyone. I'm hoping you guys are doing great. And this session is about data science. We are going to discuss about the AI street talk about data science with our special guest Aman Kumar. He's working as a data scientist now, and we are going to discuss about their journey, how they have started, what are the things that you need to learn, the techs, if you want to transition from any other field to this, what are the things you need to know. There will be a lot of questions, and this is going to be a direct question answer session with Mr. Aman. So, welcome, Aman. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine. Hello, everyone.
Okay, great to know. So let's start with the basic introduction. Like, can you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, sure. So, hello, everyone. My name is Aman Jethani, and I'm currently working as a data scientist at QuantumAI Street. And I recently got graduated in 2023 from ABU Triple I Team College. And when I was in college, I had an around of 1 year of experience with interns with multiple of the organizations. And I started my journey of machine learning and data science in 2020. So currently still learning how things are going on and what are the different things that are coming in this field day by day. And apart from these academics, sometimes when I'm free, I like to binge watch multiple TV shows and movies, and I really like to play harmonica in my free time.
Okay, that's great, Aman. So you have mentioned like you're learning data science from 2020, right?
Yeah,
So it's been
when I
almost
was
two
in
and a
college.
half to 3 years, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So how's the journey so far? Like how you have started and how you get your first job?
Okay. So first of all, let's get back in the time when we had COVID. It was a pretty bad time that time, but it was inspiring time for me because everyone was at home and no one was like going to college, and we have a pretty much less load of college. So in the starting 2 years of my college, when I started discovering things, many of my friends, everyone would be doing like they go for competitive programming, they go for backend, they go for front end, but I tried my hands on all of these things, but couldn't get a gist of everything. Means I was into data structures, but not a good level of CP. So I dropped that idea, and some of my seniors in my college guided me in this path to watch over like what machine learning and data science is going to do in future. So I started learning machine learning and data science in from the year of 2020. So initially, I started with a basic course that is of machine learning by Andrew Ng, because previous to that machine learning, we have also some of the skill sets. We have to do some programming language, let's say Python, R, or Python and R basically are used in machine learning and data science these days. And we had our subjects covered of statistics and everything in the second year itself. So that part was also covered by that time. So I directly started by learning machine learning, what it basically is and what are the different algorithms. So I started this process. It was not a very much uh, smooth process, but it took time for me to learn because there are multiple algorithms that we need to learn. And not only just machine learning is there, we have deep learning also. And day to day, every day, there are new techniques that are getting developed. So we have to keep ourselves updated at a daily basis. So at 2020, I started this machine learning and learned multiple algorithms, how they work, their maths behind it. And once this machine learning was done, it took me around 4 to 5 months to complete this whole part because it's a pretty much big course, machine learning by Andrew Ng. So when this course was completed, I took some of the data sets from Kaggle and did some practice of different machine learning algorithms and how these algorithms are actually used, what are the different matrices that we use to determine how a model is working or not. So this was a pretty small journey. Then I moved on my journey to deep learning. There is also a course again by Andrew Ng itself, this Stanford University. We learned over there for multiple deep learning techniques and how they are used. And in deep learning, my favorite thing was to work with the textual data. Basically, we say it's NLP, natural language processing. So it was a pretty much good topic to learn from him, NLP. And once this was done, I was very much curious about this NLP domain. So I searched multiple research paper. What are the recent investments that have been done over there? So this was a basic journey. And apart after this, I started with a small intern at Xiaomi India. That was my first internship in my college. I directly approached them through LinkedIn, and that was my first intern where I was working with them as a data engineer and analytics intern. Because to work as a data scientist, you also should be known very much aware with the analytics part also, because there are too much of visualization that we need to do on a daily level basis. So I started my journey with a 3 month of internship with Xiaomi India, and once it was done, and I never took a stop from over there, and took multiple interns. Then worked with the Mbibe, that is a tech platform. Most of you might be knowing because it's a famous platform for competitive exams preparation. So I was a data science intern over there, and I got pretty much work over there for what we could say NLP part only. That was my domain. I like to work over there. And from after that, our college started, and it was a hectic schedule to manage the intern with the college itself. So we dropped the intern, and once my end year was my college in my last year, I started working with data science intern at a company Aplazo. Uh, there I worked for around 7 months, and once that procedure was done, and then I moved on to a full-time role at Quantum Street AI.
Okay, that's a pretty detailed discussion on it. We are going to discuss about different aspects of it as we proceed further. You have
Yeah,
given some of the resources, like the courses of Andrew Ng, who is
yeah.
one of the great minds in data science. So I have three major questions from it. Like you mentioned DSA. So how much DSA is important in data science?
So everywhere wherever you will start your data science journey, if you are working as an intern as well, there would be a round specifically for data structures and algorithms. So I won't say, as I said in starting, like I don't have a pretty much knowledge of dynamic programming or competitive programming. So this for I didn't do much competitive programming, but I have pretty much knowledge of about all the data structures like array, tree, linked list, and there is a particular sheet that I practice every day. That is the GFG sheet, where we have that curated 200 plus question for data structures and algorithms for interviews. So I did that sheet once or twice, thrice. So it gave me pretty much common understanding. And if anything apart from that comes to what I could say to an interview, we could actually handle if we have done all those 200 questions seriously.
Okay, great. In DSA, okay, what are
Yes.
the specific topics that one need to know if they want to work in data science, and where exactly those topics used?
So basically, array and what we could say different data frames. Array is basically you mostly arrays used. We don't use particularly much like the stacks and queues. They are used. They are not pretty much used these days. But you have to be thorough with what numpys and pandas. There are numpys and pandas arrays also. We have to be thorough with them because our day-to-day practice needs to use them. So we don't particularly use everything, because when we have to optimize some of the things in our code, like let's say we are writing some of the function and we have to optimize, we use those algorithms. But on a daily level basis, like there is no use of particularly tree and dynamic programming in data science aspect.
Okay, nice. We can say like mostly uh, lists and dictionary or basic data structure will be
Yes,
used mostly, right? So if you are
mostly.
good in them, you can start working on that,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Okay. What about math in data science? How much math is required? Is there any specific topics you can mention? Because there are a lot of students who say, I'm not good in maths, so what should I do? Should I proceed further with data science, or data analyst is good for me, or what? And same thing happens to like a lot of student faced in maths with Andrew Ng's course as well, because that is pretty deep in math. So most of
Yes.
the student who has started the course, they might not able to end it. They will be bored. Okay, I don't want to get dig deeper into the maths. I want to get more into the coding part. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, so that's a pretty much good point. Maths is pretty much very much important, I would say, when you are working with machine learning and deep learning, because you should know the gist how the algorithm is actually working. You can't proceed multi much further without maths, I would say. Not to demotivate anyone, but if you are not pretty much good at maths, I would suggest please try and improve yourself. Study some of the basic books that work with basically we use it like in everyone might be knowing who is currently pursuing. There are some neural networks, and when we are working with neural networks, there is a thing known as back propagation, and at that time we basically use calculus a lot at that time. So I would suggest anyone who is having any problem with mathematics, I would suggest them to practice more about it, because they are pretty much necessary. Because eventually, if you would move forward in any research area, you won't be changing multiple of the things. It would be basically working with the maths, how you are concatenating different things, how you are multiplying different things, what weights you should assign. That basically is the important. And coming to one question, what things that we need to learn? First of all, we should be good with statistics. There should be good knowledge of probability, and there should be a knowledge of calculus as well, and linear programming. So these are pretty much necessary, and statistics and probability would definitely help you to crack some of the interviews, whether you are going for a full-time role or you are going for an intern role. They both are pretty much necessary whenever we are moving forward in this career.
Okay. So the next question is, what are the major mistakes student does when they start working if they want to get into data science or data analytics? What are the biggest mistake that they often do?
Yeah, so I will tell by my experience what I did. Initially, when I started, I wasn't looking into much of the maths. Like everything is getting done at the back end. Why I should learn anything? I could directly import some of the libraries and do a pretty much simple project. This is one of the basic mistake that I did when I started my journey. I didn't pretty much gave a good thorough thought on the maths behind it, because sometimes that maths could help you figure out multiple things whether you are looking at the data or not. There is a simple thing whenever we are let me give you an example. There is a simple thing, linear regression, and that's a basic model that we start when we do a machine learning journey. If we are not checking out, if we are directly feeding the library to the model itself, we are not actually checking some of the things. Like there might be an issue. Some of the data can be might be correlated with the dependent feature that we are actually trying to predict. So that's a target leak thing of situation. So we have to actually work on those maths. There are some assumptions that we need to understand behind that algorithm. So this is a pretty much basic thing everyone does. This is a big mistake. Like they don't work on what are the assumptions of that particular algorithm, how is the maths behind it, and they directly think like we could import this library and feed it the data, and we would be getting a particular model. So one of the thing is this, and secondly, everyone tries to rush pretty much quick. Like we should learn everything quickly and complete this course. Like if you are working with machine learning on Android NG, we should complete it by 15 days, in 20 days. Why it's taking too much time? We should give patience to that course, and we should study thoroughly. Why are they? And then accordingly, if you're not getting understand anything regarding that, you could go over to some blogs and study why this thing was done. So these were two pretty mistakes that I did when I started my career. But once I got everything lined up, my journey was pretty much smooth till then.
Okay. It happens to me as very well. Means whenever I took some interviews, so especially in interns. So what happened for the freshers? They have mentioned a lot of things that they have worked on deep learning, they have worked on NLP project, they have made like GAN based projects, and once it comes to like interviewing them, they don't know. They know that these are the libraries that I have imported, this is the model how it is written, this is the output that it is giving, but they don't know the fundamentals of it. So that is the drawback of those libraries as well. It happens a lot of times.
Yes,
So,
that's. I also have faced this in my interview once.
right. So, once you have started, like everyone, when they start, they're having an expectation in their mind. Okay, these are the things that they need to do. And when you started in your job, so the things might not be as you have expected. So, what do you think are the expectation versus reality kind of scenarios?
So, first of all, pretty much big expectations. What I would tell you, like, is that we assume whenever we go into an organization, we assume we have this much data. What we have to do, we will be having this much data. We have to fit it into the model, and we will be getting a result. That's completely wrong assumption. Anyone, if that is having that in mind, it's pretty much wrong. The main important step is to get that data itself, like how we are going to get that data fetching. Then after that fetching that data, we have to clean it for our use case, and then after that we have to check it for multiple, what we could say, we have to do some exploratory data analysis on that, whether it's helping us or not. We have to finalize a target variable as well, like what we are actually going to predict. It's not pretty much simple. We have to keep our business problem also in mind, like what we are actually working with through. And also, we have to work with the different business leaders to understand what they are actually trying to achieve from this model. So, and then after doing everything, then comes our machine learning model part. So it's basically machine learning comes around of only 20%, I would suggest. And apart from this, rest all these processes are 80%. And this is a pretty much big expectation I had. Like, I would be having this data, I would feed it into the model, and I would be getting my results. Simple work. So it's not like that. There's pretty much manual work before that we need to do. And once we do that, then we have to feed it into model and get results. Sometimes it's possible that we might not get results to our choice as well, and because it's a model. We these are not human that we could predict everything. So
Mhm.
that's pretty much. And after that, we have to do some monitoring as well of that model, like it's performing well on a daily basis or not. So yeah,
Mhm.
that would be one of the things that everyone expect, but it's not there.
All right. So same thing happens. Like I've collected a data set through web scraping. Like the data set is having 2.5 million movies data.
Yeah.
Like who's the director, the genre, the total collection that they have made, the directors, and there's a lot of details about the data set. And obviously, if the data set is collected live, so there will be a lot of missing values, null values. And one of my student has cleaned that data and removed all the rows those are having at least one null value in it, and the
Oh,
out of 2.5 million rows end up having 3.8 thousand rows only, 3.8 to 4,000 rows. He was like, the data set is garbage. And I was like, okay, but like this is these are the kind of things that you need to deal with. It's not like you
yes.
need to pre-process it, and it's more about cleaning and pre-processing the data and less about the model breeding.
Yeah.
Right, right. So, what do you think, like the job impact, or let's start with the scope of data science? Those who want to start their career as a data scientist or as a data analyst, what are the different job roles that we are having? What are the things that they need to learn? The tools, the programming language, and what can be the main question, the salary expectation they can have?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
So I would start step by step. So first of all, I would be covering like what things that we need to learn. On programming side, we should be working with Python and R, because every day we are using those. And then coming on, we have thorough with DBMS, means we should know both type of SQL and NoSQL as well. We should be thorough with, nowadays everyone is working on cloud platform as well. So one of the cloud platforms, any of those that you feel comfortable, we should be working with that, like the AWS, or currently we are working, everyone is working on GCP as well. GCP is Google Cloud Platform. So these three things are important, like what we could say. Uh, these are the main tools that we need at a daily level. And whenever you are working on Python, you should be pretty much thorough with pandas, NumPy, and anything else that we are using. You think it's pretty much basic, but it's not pretty much basic. We have to learn pretty much on that also. So Once programming is done, you have the DBMS, you have cloud platforms, then comes your machine learning algorithms. You should know about them. So this covers one of the part like what we should know, and there is one part I missed like for data analysis part also as well. So whenever you are working in a data science project, you pretty much do a subset of all the works that a data engineer and a data analyst also does. So this I'm just saying a sub part, not every you won't be having everything of knowledge. So it's a sub part like what they do. So once you have get all this done, and moving on, like if anyone wants to start this journey, what's the scope? Everyone nowadays might be using Chat GPT for their day-to-day purposes. So it's not we. I shouldn't explain like why should you pursue this part. Like you are seeing a magic done every day. You are using it to write mails. You are using. I also use it to write mail to my colleagues and boss as well. So everyone use it. So it basically helps us. Data science and AI are actually helping us every day. So if you want to learn and grow each day, it's a pretty much good thing to work with data science and ML. And apart from this, everyone thinks like these things are good, but what's the package? Means main matter is about money, like how much we are getting paid. So if I would say you would be getting pretty much good pay if you have a good experience, you have a good knowledge, and it would be pretty much above the market standards. You won't be getting a low CTC. You would be starting at a pretty much good high CTC any company that you join. But the main thing is you should have knowledge. You should have the motivation to work on anything. So this was some of the things that I knew, and there are multiple things you could study and learn accordingly. There are multiple blogs you could study. You could have multiple podcasts. So yeah, this would be it from my side.
Is there a number bracket we can add?
Yeah, number bracket,
Like
if you
a
want to
rough.
add,
Mhm.
it's everything is like it's depend on what type of organization you are
Mhm.
adding in. If it's you're working an organization that has startup also that has been working with over 6 to 7 plus of years, you would be having a starting of around 15 to 16 LP.
Okay. For data
And
scientist.
for data scientists. And once you
And
grow, you would be, and if you are joining any bigger organization like we could, there is Amazon that hires an applied scientist role that is gives a pretty much good package of that's equivalent that's equivalent or more than to what they give to SD freshers.
mm. And what about data analyst?
Data analyst is every company hires. So it's also start with around if you are working good organization, it also starts with around 10 to 12 LPA. That are pretty much good market standards. If you are going into good organization with good knowledge on visualization tools and good knowledge on SQL and good knowledge on programming as well.
Okay, great. So I'm hoping the students are having now a clear idea how the things are working, how they can get into the industry, and the expectation that they can have. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, ChatGPT, or cutting edge researches that nowadays going on, how they will impact the jobs scenario, and what's your take on that? Overall job scenario, and
So
in the field of data science as well, what do you think is the scope?
So I don't think like everyone knows no one can replace human mind.
Mhm.
So that chat GPT is also created by us only. We had trained it, we had worked on their maths. So I don't think the jobs won't be less. It would every time would be more because as I said, data is the key. And to maintain that data, we would be needing those data scientists and to evaluate every day how that particular model is working. We need to work on a daily level basis and clear our get our more clear understanding how we could improve it. So I wouldn't say like the jobs would be less in this field. It would be pretty much growing. It is a growing field in India and overall worldwide also. So this is a take on my side. Like if Chat GPT is also there till now, if we say it has been trained on some of the data itself, like we can't ask him about past. I think around 2020. I think so. So it's
Mhm.
been trained for till then. So there would be training coming from that part also. Like when in 2027 or 2028, it would be trained till 2025 years of data. So that would be a hectic work because data every day is growing at a pretty much good rate. Every day we are watching Instagram, we are working with Twitter, we are working with what we could say YouTube as well. So there is pretty humongous data, and it should learn how to deal with different data. So I would say there would be no less jobs in this field. And if you work right and learn things pretty much well, it's a good career to start with.
Okay, great. And what do you think about the other job roles apart from like the tech industry? How do you think these the tools like ChatGPT is there and Mid Journey is there? There are a lot of other tools coming in AI based tools. How those tools will impact the other job roles apart from the tech industry, especially means apart from data science.
See, if we are looking at, let's say, as SD as well, so people are working and they are using ChatGPT to write some of the code, but ChatGPT couldn't give a particular context and everything, because when I'm working on a website, like I'm working in a backend, I know we have to do this part that ChatGPT couldn't get, because he don't have access to that website, he don't have access to our business idea as well. So we could help him. We could use it to write a pretty much good code, but how to integrate those code, how to change that code for our perspective, it can't be done by ChatGPT. So a human aspect, human touch is every time needed for any of the work that we do, and this on SD as well. And coming on to the part of uh, what we say, you said
Non-tech,
regarding
like specifically non-tech jobs.
specifically non-tech jobs. I don't have a pretty much say on that part. Sorry on
Mhm.
that.
Okay.
Means I didn't given a thought on much like how it's gonna affect other people's jobs as well.
Mhm.
On tech side, I know like what's my thinking, and I don't have a pretty much knowledge like on non-tech side.
Okay, okay, okay. So if you need to start all over again, start from level zero, what's the part that you will choose?
Level zero in the means like
Means if
could
you
you
need to start all over again in the field of data science, means
okay.
where you are, what's the part that you need to choose? Like there must be some mistakes that you have done. So what do you think is the ideal path? And just take it
Uh,
as a fresher, like where you were at the beginning.
Yeah, okay, got it. So, first of all, I would say there is no ideal path. Everyone does mistakes, as I mentioned, my mistakes as well. So, there is not any ideal path. I would say if I have to start with level zero and come back, I would definitely start again Andrew NG course and try to listen it pretty much basics again, and keep everything in mind whatever he's saying, because he's one of the great in this industry. And if I would come back and start with level zero, I would definitely again start with him only. There is no like any better start than him. So I would again come back to him only, but with pretty much more dedication, and like I need to learn everything again.
Okay, great. So that is pretty much it from my side, Aman. So if you're having anything, any last thought to give to our audience, you can. Otherwise, we can wrap up the session.
Yeah, sure. One thing I would like to add, whenever you start your journey, as I mentioned, please keep your basics in mind. Don't try to learn in very much fast way. Have patience. This field might take some time. You would be seeing your friends working with multiple companies in a back end or front end job. It's a bit difficult part to get some of the jobs in this field. I understand that. I have gone through that phase. You would be checking out your friends like they are working in this and they are getting paid 30,000, 40,000 internship. When I would start my journey, how would I earn? So it would be an issue. And apart from this, I would say uh, whatever friends that you have in your circle, wherever you are in college or you have passed out, please keep those friends intact. And if they are helping you to grow on every day, so they are pretty much good friends to keep you around. So my friends are still pretty much connected to me nowadays as well, as we are past our college. But Whenever I have some of the advice, I need to take advice, I call them and they also call me. So your career and your friends are both are pretty much important.
That's a great message. I mean, like it happened. Like whenever we open LinkedIn, it feels like everyone has gone so far, and we are just left behind,
Yes.
because this is how the LinkedIn boosts the posts.
Yes.
But yeah, that's a great message. So thank you so much, Avan, for giving your precious time, and I'm pretty sure students have learned a lot from you about the guidance, about your journey, about what are the resources. You have also given a lot of resources, so
Yes.
make sure to check that out. And I'll for sure like invite you for some more such great session, and similar, and the same thing also you guys, like the audience also mentioned it in the chat, uh, that we want Aman once again to have a discussion. And thank you so much, Aman, for joining in, and thank you so much
Yeah. Thanks
to the
for having me,
audience.
Ashish.
Thank you so much. Great.
Thank you everyone for joining. Have a great
Thank
day.
you. Bye bye. Yes, you
Bye.
too.